The Old Testament reading is from the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verses 1 to 4, and chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. The oracle that Habakkuk the prophet received in a vision. How long, O Holy One, am I to cry for help while you do not listen? How long will I cry oppression in your ear, and you do not save? Why do you make me look upon injustice? Why do you countenance tyranny? Outrage and violence, this is all I see. All is contention, and discord flourishes. The law loses its hold, and justice never shows itself. The corrupt triumph over those who are righteous, and justice is perverted once again. I will stand on my watchtower and take up my post on my battlements, watching to see what God will say to me, what answers God will make to my complaints. Then the Holy One replied, "Write down this vision, inscribe it legibly on tablets so that a herald can easily read it, since this vision will stand as a witness to the appointed time of judgment. It gives faithful testimony about a time that will come. If it is slow in coming, wait for it, for come it will without fail. Look, those whose hearts are corrupt will faint with exhaustion, while those who steadfastly uphold justice will live."
The name Habakkuk means to embrace. What a strange calling for a prophet to be named such a tender act of holding, yet spend their days crying out into the void, "How long, O God? Why do you make me look upon injustice? Why do you tolerate tyranny?" This is the cry that rises in every community that has watched oppression flourish, violence escalate, justice perverted. It's the cry that won't stay buried. We know this cry. It lives in us. The waiting hasn't ended. The vision hasn't fully arrived. Yet, what does it mean to embrace in times like these? To embrace doesn't mean to passively accept. To embrace means to hold actively, fiercely, tenderly, and that vision insists another world is possible. To embrace means to wrap our arms around the future. We can't yet see it, but we refuse to abandon. To embrace means to say, "I'm staying, we're staying, we hold this vision until it comes." There's a story from East Los Angeles in the 1990s told by Frank Rogers Jr. in his chapter Discernment in the book Practicing Our Faith. A group of mothers gather in a barrio consumed by gang violence. One evening, reading the story of Jesus calming the sea, one woman said, "I think the sea is the barrio at night, and the wind is the gang of kids with their drugs and their guns." Those women wondered, what would faith look like in this storm? They didn't debate theology. They descended together and they acted. They all sat on their porches at the same time. They organized a procession through the neighborhood. They painted over graffiti. They invited everyone, including gang members, to a community meal. And something shifted. The Spirit moved in ways they haven't orchestrated alone. This is what those mothers did. They embraced their neighborhood, not as it was, but as it could be. They embraced a vision of peace that seemed impossibly slow in coming. And in that embrace, in that active, determined, creative holding, the vision began to take form. This is what the ones we remember today did. They lived into the paradox of the writer of 2 Thessalonians names, and somehow, mysteriously, in the midst of trial and uncertainty, faith expanded, love deepened, the work continues. Not because suffering is redemptive, it isn't, but because communities in struggle learn to build and hold each other differently. The letter prays that God will empower all your works of faith. Works, plural. Not a single heroic act, but the daily, ordinary, unglamorous labor of staying present, staying engaged, staying fully human. John Dorhauer, in his book Beyond Resistance, that many of us read before his visit to Mountain Rise a couple years ago, challenges religious communities to stop clinging to institutional forms that no longer serve life and instead to discern where the Spirit is creating something new. It's uncomfortable work. It means listening, really listening, listening hard to voices we've silenced, to movements we've resisted. It means embracing a future that we can't fully control. Rebecca Solnit, in her book Hope in Dark, reminds us that hope is not passive optimism. Hope is active. Hope shows up with a casserole and a plan. Many of the ones we remember today lived that kind of hope. They didn't wait for permission. They discerned. They acted. They became the answer to their own prayers. And now it's our time to embrace what they began. Habakkuk stands on the watchtower, watching, waiting, listening, and God says, write the vision, make it plain. If it is slow in coming, wait for it will come without fail. So what vision are we holding? Our vision, I believe, is a world where faith doesn't mean certainty, but means showing up again and again to do the work of love. I believe that Mountain Rise has a future and is ready to embrace it and make it a reality. The vision is a community where the love doesn't mean agreement, but means fierce commitment. Commitment to each other's flourishing. The vision is a church that doesn't resist the future, but discerns it with all its complexity, all of its patience, and the humility that discernment requires. And believe you me, discernment is dangerous work. People claim that God told them all kinds of things, to exclude, to harm, to maintain unjust power. But as Frank Rogers writes, authentic discernment bears certain fruit. It creates life and wholeness and health. It nurtures love, joy and peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That kind of discernment means listening deeply. The service that surfaces all the emotions, even the difficult ones, that echoes down into the depths of our own being, that then moves us to action, because discernment that never moves beyond contemplation isn't discernment at all. When the vision is slow in coming, and it will be slow at times, and it is slow, embrace it anyway. Embrace the wait. Embrace the work. Embrace each other. Embrace the future that God is creating, even when you can only see fragments of it. Look at these candles before us. They are not just memories. They are an assignment. They are a vision made plain. Each flame represents someone who held the light when it was their turn, someone who embraced the vision even when it seemed impossibly distant. Now, they pass the light on to you. Now you become the ones to embrace, who hold fiercely and tenderly the vision of God's new creation. Now you write it plain. Now you make it real. Now you live it with compassion. So embrace it, Mountain Rise. Embrace the vision. Embrace the wait. Embrace the future. Embrace each other. And when the day or night is long and the watchtower feels lonely, remember that the vision gives us faithful testimony about a time that will come, and it will come without fail. Until then, embrace and make ready.